Pat Condell. Hello, sir. My name is Jack. I had watched your video, You'll Turn to God, and I was reading over the script here. I was thinking to myself, what's the best way for me to respond to your video? So I think I might do a couple short video responses to your video just so that I can keep my points clear and concise. And this first point that I want to make really is, I just want to let people know that I am a religious person. I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian since I was about 16 or 17 years old. I was a youth pastor for about 8 or so years. I can list a bunch of things about whatever. At the end of the day, though, the achievements and the things I've done, I think, really say little with regards to what matters most, and that is the actual life that I live, Pat. And the time I've spent, the 5 or so years I've spent here on YouTube, striving to engage in conversation, meaningful, courteous conversation with all people. And that's what I've done here, Pat. My YouTube career has been about, in some odd way, and certainly not perfectly, striving to have this idea of being together for peace. And the idea of being together for peace in various ways. And sometimes when you're standing for peace, of course, you don't always get along with everyone. Peace doesn't mean you accept everything. But when it comes to conversation, meaningful conversation and dialogue, I strive for that with all people in which I encounter, if they're willing to talk, to be able to have that venue on blog TV primarily, to be able to have those conversations. So in your video, when you began by saying, when religious people, well, I am a religious person. I am a Christian. When you say in your video that they often say, well, I just want to let people know that I don't often say, I don't ever say, you wait, you'll turn to God when you're close to death. And I think most of you people who are watching this video understand and know that probably most Christians that you've encountered are not like the sort of characterization that Pat Condell gives in his videos. Now, I'm not saying all Christians are perfect, because we all know they aren't. In the same way that we all know that atheists, Pat Condell, are just as prone to engaging and making assertions that have an air of desperation about them. Pat, I'm sure you've received a lot of hate-filled, crazy, over-the-top messages from people, religious people, over the years you've been on YouTube. And I would just encourage you to consider the fact that me, Jack, a Christian, on YouTube, a minority in this conversation about God's existence here on YouTube, I've received plenty of comments and messages from some atheists making blanket, crazy, over-the-top assertions that have an air of desperation about them. In this way, I see that this is not so much an atheist-theist thing. It's a people thing. And I don't know how much benefit there is in making it sound as though only the religious engage in such tactics. Because the fact is, it's not just religious. It's all people in some form or fashion. Not all, but many. You and I, Pat, have an opportunity to try and change those sorts of behaviors, to change that perception, to change the way, to encourage people, to influence people in a positive way, to participate in conversations. We have an opportunity to fashion and form the discussion. And Pat, over the years you've been doing YouTube, I've always seen you seem to fashion and form it in the most negative, narrow possible way. And you don't even fashion and form it in a way that you are ever seem to be terribly inclined to encourage people to have meaningful conversation with their opponents. I don't see that with you, Pat. But perhaps that's not what you're striving for. I don't get that that's really what you strive for at all. But so be it. Folks, I will let you know that if I realize someone is not going to believe in God, that in the 5 years or so I've been on YouTube, have never said, you wait, you'll turn to God when you're close to death. I've never said that. And I wouldn't. Y'all take care. Until next time.